Hey guys, I'm going to do a spirit talk and maybe we'll pull some cards and things like that. We'll do that as well. I want to talk about a little bit about Pluto and Aquarius, which that happened November 19th, and I've been talking to you guys about that, and that was going to be a major thing. And there's a lot of things going on with this shift. Trump got elected. You guys know that. And I know, at least if you're on this channel, some of you are like, how did this happen? I don't understand this. Okay. And then also, but I do understand it. I think I do understand it if I look at things critically. But also, it is a sign of going in Pluto and Aquarius. I know a lot of people are very fearful. And one of the things, and one of the reasons also I want to make this video is I do not want us to be walking around in fear. It's got to be love over fear. It's still got to be that way. Okay? And stuff. And one of the things I want to remind you before I begin, don't forget the light always wins in the end. Okay. And one of the things we also have to know and accept and understand is spirit will use leaders, to teach certain lessons to humanity. And I know it's like, a lot of people are very fearful right now, like, oh my God, here comes the tariffs. Here comes the, all this stuff that's going on. What about the immigrants? What's going to happen? All these things, that people voted for. Yes, it's going to be a tough time. Um, we know that. But I also want us to kind of look at what got us here. Some things. And I've been, listening to some people, what is happening. There is definitely a breakdown. Now, I would say that things do need to crumble. Okay. Things have been needing to crumble for a long time. But sometimes there is that saying it has to get worse before it gets better. Okay. And so, some things began to crumble, like say in 2020, but maybe they didn't crumble enough. So now we're kind of on a rinse repeat and we took the bad boyfriend back. Okay. So you could say, just like say if you have, a nice lady here, okay, and she was in a relationship with someone, it wasn't going so hot and everything, they broke up, okay, and then but he comes back again making all kinds of promises. Oh, I'm gonna do it good this time. I'm gonna make it all better. I'm gonna do this, that. I promise. He says his thing. Give me a chance. Give me a chance to do it again. I alone can fix it. Okay. And so she's like, oh, he's real persuasive. Oh, here he comes. Okay, I'll give you another chance. That's what happened. Okay, that's part of it. And there also, you could say that lady got another boyfriend. Okay, you could say in between, like, okay, I broke up with you here. And stuff, got another boyfriend. Not really satisfied with this one here. And stuff, yeah, he's got some good qualities and this and that, but I'm just not happy and stuff. And then he comes back, with all that charisma. Here he comes. Here comes the ex of the past. I alone can fix it. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to make it all better. I'm going to make it great again. Come on, let's do it again. And so, okay, I'll break up with the guy in the middle and give you a chance. That's what happened. Okay. But a lot of things have happened since 2020. There's a big thing that happened, and I'm sure you guys have been paying attention to the news, what's going on. But we know, I knew Elon Musk was going to be a big player in the times. I knew that last year. When the downloads started coming in, it wasn't just going to be about Trump. It was going to be about Elon Musk. I knew that. I've got some stuff on there. And he also thinks he can fix it. He's kind of a fix it guy himself. There's a difference, though. Trump is not a successful businessman, and Elon Musk is. Okay. There's that. He's obviously, we can't deny the guy is brilliant and successful. But of course, he during this time he bought Twitter, and he's got some ideas on freedom of speech. Now, what's some of the things that happened over the last few years? In 2020, COVID happened. Okay, that was the big thing, and culturally, it we became polarized on that issue as well. People being told you have to wear a mask, and there were certain people that were kind of fed, but they also felt in their being, why there was a lack of trust with things that were going on. why do I have to wear a mask? And I feel like, my freedom and all this stuff, there was this thing, and people started to kind of feel, they definitely weren't trusting what is happening. I want you to just think of the mindset of any person, really in the world, but especially in America. How did this virus get here? What is going on? And so there's definitely a lot of things going on. It definitely, is it manufactured? Is it, an accident? But why it is happening, a lot of people felt that maybe something wicked this way comes, and that's why we got a virus. And those people may not necessarily be wrong. Okay. Stuff. It does feel very manufactured. Okay. But also, there were certain things, they were also getting information, that was very misguided by Trump. This was something that was going to affect him. He saw it as affecting him. It's going to go away. It's going to, and he was kind of feeding a lot of misinformation that cost a lot of people lives. Unfortunately, we had more deaths in per COVID than any other country in the world. And a lot of it is because of the bad mishandling, okay, the way it was. But still, perception of Americans can be kind of selfish. So, wearing a mask, we saw this big retaliation and people behaving their worst and refusing to wear masks and talking about their rights and all this stuff. And stuff. Then the vaccine, and at least Trump did get the vaccine out there. Okay, he did do that and stuff. And but there was still a lot of people that were not trusting in the vaccine. Now, this is one thing I don't necessarily blame people. Okay, you've got this, there's all this confusion how the virus even gets here. There's obviously people dying, but there's a lot of people that got in the conspiracy mindset and everything, about what is going on. Then there's the vaccine. So a lot of people feel, are they trying to eliminate us? I mean, that's the way some people felt. We've got to be honest with their feelings. Are they trying to wipe us out? I mean, what's going on? So a lot of people did not want to take the vaccine. But one of the problems that came in, and then, Biden, of course, then comes in with the vaccine as well, is then people were told, well, like with certain jobs, you had to take the vaccine or lose your job. That upset a lot of people. Like say the military, you have to take the vaccine. Various things were going on, and people were getting upset by that because they did not feel comfortable injecting themselves with something that they did not understand, to be able to do that. I personally did the vaccine. I had to really think about it. My kids did not. They did not, and I did not pressure them to get it. I feel the vaccine should have been a personal choice, not a demand. Especially when it's coming out so new and a lot of people are confused and not feeling comfortable. So there was already a big thing there with COVID, in the vaccine, and then talking about rights and a lot of frustration. It was a very difficult time having to go in, not be able to work, people, various sacrifices that took place, and then also feeling forced to vaccine. So you already had a lot of people that were already spinning because of that going on. And so during this time, with all this is going on, Elon then went over and took over Twitter, and he's definitely about freedom of speech. I do believe he is authentically about that, but he's kind of, anything goes, with that. So a lot of people, where they may have been censored in other places, maybe they're censored because of community standards in Facebook or Reddit or various places there where they try to express themselves, were able to say whatever they want to say. On X, they were able to do that, and so they kind of had there's a lot of people saying a lot of bad things and stuff, and a lot of racists on there, definitely, a lot of ugliness on there, but you could say those people finally had an outlet where they could, be their worst selves. There's definitely that, that it's all kind of out there. So what if, it's a catch-22. It's kind of a tough one. It's like on one end, a bunch of trolls, and yucky people posting is, it can really cripple any kind of community. But at the same time that, we also can know what we're dealing with. Okay, we can know what's really going on the inside of someone when they put that stuff out there. Okay, so it's kind of a tough one. It's kind of a tough one. But certain things started happening, especially around the election. Elon took it a step too far, and he definitely, I feel, went a bridge too far. And as really, to me, I know he has a right to even his own opinion, but he also went way too far, playing with algorithms and trying to force his view of what he feels, he feels should win. Okay. And he was also allowing a lot of propaganda against Harris, a lot of things that were untrue. He even, we all know, he posted the one AI that was heavily manipulated, saying things that she was not saying. Okay. He put that up there without a disclaimer, for others to see. So it's like, okay, Elon, you're all about freedom of speech, but also promoting propaganda, and a bunch of lies and things like that. You went a bridge too far to manipulate because you want your guy to win. Okay. And so because you feel this is best for your purposes. And of course, now we know he's going to play a role in at least making suggestions to Congress, with his Doge thing that he's got going on with Vivek Ramaswamy, and apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to have a voice in that as well. Okay, so really, and I wish people would have looked at it realistically. Elon's looking really, ultimately, he got to the point where what can I get out of it? And Trump, of course, is looking for what he can get out of it. But what about the American people and what is best for them? That's not really being thought of, very constructively and stuff. So there was a lot of manipulation. So now the election happened, Trump's wins. Okay, and there's a lot of propaganda, a lot of manipulation, but there was also a lot of frustration. I think that we have to acknowledge as Americans. People are, tired of hearing inflation is going down, but they're not feeling that in the pocketbook. You and I know that when we go to the grocery store, things are very expensive and it's very difficult. And then we've got our bills to contend with. And we also know since COVID, the cost of living skyrocketed. Like, for example, during COVID, when I was in my apartment, with the kid, they wanted to up my rent when it came lease time an additional $300 for no reason. And I know the reason why. Really, though, the reason it was going up, I mean, it wasn't like they were improving the apartment. They weren't gonna give me new carpet and paint the walls, or give me new appliances. I know it's because a lot of people didn't pay or could not pay during COVID. So let's up the rates on the people who are paying rent. Very unfair, and I moved out. Okay. So the cost of living went up in a lot of places, a lot of apartments, astronomically, and everything, and people were paying the price for that. And then, of course, groceries, went up, and all these things. So a lot of people are feeling the crunch, and that's why. So when Trump would say, "Has it got better for you over the last 4 years?" Um, a lot of people, we're hearing a cost of inflation is going down and unemployment is going down, but they're not feeling the benefit to themselves. And so they kind of voted on there's this I alone can fix it. I will do this. I will do that. There's a lot of lies told. We know he told lies and said other countries pay the tariffs. And now a lot of people are learning that's not true. Okay. And so, but that's what they kind of voted on. I think a lot of people kind of thought of that question. Yeah, I don't feel better off. I don't feel better off. I'm paying a lot more money. I'm broke. Okay. And stuff. But a lot of bullshit was sold, because ultimately, then there was the looming Project 2025, and he was saying, I have nothing to do with that. I don't know anything about it. I haven't read it. And a lot of people, I think, just wanted to believe that. I don't think the majority of Americans want a Project 2025. They don't want necessarily freedoms taken away and things like that. They just want to live a better life for themselves. But unfortunately, they weren't thinking about humanity as a whole in this country. What about everybody else? Everybody else should be able to have the freedoms and live a good life and pursue the American dream. Okay, the pursuit of happiness. We all should be able to do that stuff. That's what they use: life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. So here we are. But one of the things that is also happening and happened right after the election and right before Pluto goes in Aquarius on November 19 is blue sky, which was kind of sitting there, growing since for a couple years or something. All of a sudden, here's this mass exodus from X because of people were like, they were in there, they were doing the debates, they were trying to put up, information, trying to, get stuff out there. But also they realized that Elon made the playing field very unlevel for people who did not support Trump. And then they finally exasperated have are migrating by the millions over to blue sky, and it's growing like crazy. So we've got this nice beautiful butterfly, and we've got a lot of people who are like, nope, nope, I want to get away from this toxic energy that has become X, that is that it, this yuckiness that people that maybe a little more either to the left or even centrist and stuff would post something that is just a barrage of hate. Okay, and they're like, I'm done with this. This is toxic. So it's almost like what we're seeing now is, even though we're on this timeline, we are seeing a split in consciousness. We're seeing a 3D 5D split. People who don't want that, they want some kind of sense of community where people can get along, but they can also discuss issues, but also form a little bit of a resistance to all of these toxic things. And now they're getting left behind. So pretty soon, as this continues, this momentum, there's going to be more and more gravitating to the point we have it, and there are both global type of apps, two very different polarities of consciousness that are happening with this blue sky migration. And it all happened right before Pluto goes into Aquarius. And then here we are and stuff, and it's a big thing. And I was talking about it in the group recently, this shift in consciousness. People want to go to higher ground. They don't want to fight anymore. They don't want to fight with all these trolls. They don't want to deal with all the hatred. They don't want to deal with the toxicity. So now you've got a bunch of people who are like, all these people are leaving. They don't want to debate with us anymore. It's not fun anymore. Now they can all talk amongst themselves. So the polarity is definitely taking place. But we also, like I said, we also, I one of the things I encourage you guys, I know it's frustrating, and there are some people that have gone MAGA that we got to leave behind. That they've kind of made up their mind. They voted against our own freedoms and our own self-interest and things like that. And it's a tough one. There is this, you know, as if we have to leave some of them behind because of the toxicity and stuff, but also I don't want you guys to at the same time hate on these people. There's been a lot of manipulation, a lot of brainwashing, and a lot of distortion of perception with things that have been going on. And for each individual, there should be during this time a fight for awareness and a pursuit of the truth, you know, and that has to be done at the same time. It's going to be difficult. I've never been really one to 100% trust any government, and things like that, because I know there's a lot of money involved, there's a lot of corruption involved, and I think we all know that. We know that. But bringing in someone who's way more corrupt, but yet has bared his soul in and been pretty much showed the corruption, it's been very obvious and said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And then people sit there surprised he's going to do what he said. Okay, there are some things Trump didn't lie about. The immigration thing, I don't think is a lie. I think he's going to go through with it. The tariffs, it's not a lie and stuff. But, as far as the means to an end, why, okay, doing these things might be more the illusion. Saying immigrants are the problem and the reason why the country is the way it is absolute lie. Of course, I think a lot of the reason the country is the way it is because of corruption in the government. And we've haven't had the best choices of electing people that have our best interests at heart. They're thinking of themselves and lining their pockets. That's been the problem. A lot of times they'll be up there and they'll say, "Oh, I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to do that for you." And as soon as they get in, they line their pockets and they forget about who elected them. That's been the problem for an extremely long time and stuff. So the problem, but to say, "Oh, it's all the immigrants' fault," is ridiculous. Is ridiculous. That is completely deflect and blame something else. But some people buy it. Oh, okay. It's them. It's them and this stuff, and then they hate, and on that, or then of course the enemy within, which is a big thing. Trump promoted other Americans deflecting off of the people that we elect not doing their jobs, but going in promising, "I'm going to do this," and lining their pockets and not keeping their promises. Okay. And that goes for Democrat and Republican leaders. I remember once, Clinton ran on, he wasn't going to up taxes, and I remember him sitting there doing one of those, nation, things, and he said, "Nope, sorry, we got to up taxes and stuff. We have to do it." And I'm like, mm. And I was younger at that time, and I'm like, you said before you got elected you would lower taxes and you wouldn't up them, and then now you're saying, "Sorry, we got to up them." Oh, you fucking lied. Okay, so there was a lot of things Clinton did right, but he did lie about that. Okay, so Democrats, Republicans, it doesn't matter. What sometimes whatever you're going with, except a lot of times people, they make promises, we elect them, and they don't keep their promises. And because they have not kept their promises and been very much self-interest, and it's about getting rich and not really helping the American people, this is why we are where we are today. It's just an absolute game. And until Americans finally say, "I'm done with this," okay, it's going to continue to go that way. So now we've got the worst situation. It's kind of like, okay, we're going to give that boyfriend a chance. Okay, and stuff, do it, saying, and it's one thing to say things, there's a lot of things he said he could do, like save America, which he cannot do. Okay, I mean, if you look at the cabinet picks he's bringing in, there's no way that's going to save America. Those people are meant to destroy the federal government. It's one thing to reform certain things, but it's another thing to just straight up destroy itself. And then, of course, bringing in an authoritarian, which, America sadly was ripe for that because of their frustration and everything, and put their hope into one person, which that is a good way to be ripe and ready for an antichrist type figure. So one of the things we as spiritualists, what we always have to do is we put, and this is where a lot of Christians are falling away. We want to put our faith in spirit alone. And so we don't put our faith in man's systems. But one of the things that is happening, say, with the conservative Christian is, people need to understand that Jesus' way is the hard path. It's a hard way. Gandhi understood it. He did it the Jesus way, nonviolent resistant. Martin Luther King understood it, nonviolent resistant. But other people, they may say they love Jesus, but they don't want to do it his way. If you present what he says, the way and the strategies, because really Jesus taught strategy when he showed up, they don't want his strategies and stuff. They want somebody to come and punish their enemies. They want somebody to come and give them, like, it's like, I'm not doing, I've been doing it the Jesus way, but I'm still poor. I don't like this. Okay. And then they see all these rich pastors and stuff, which is definitely not the Jesus way, that they're getting rich, rich, rich. And instead of, like, say, giving to poor communities or taking care of people, they're just getting real nice houses and real nice cars. And it should be so self-evident that they are corrupt, okay, and they're all about the money. It should be self-evident, but people are like looking at this and they justify via the prosperity gospel that, oh, God is blessing them because they're preaching the word of God around the world and stuff. And what about me? What about my, Jesus, where's my riches and things? And it's all, it's all a big system of lies and stuff. But to do things the actual Jesus way, Love your neighbor as yourself. Bless those that curse you. Turn the other cheek. Okay, various strategies that he gave and stuff. They're like, that ain't working for me. So I'm going to do it the Trump way. And stuff. He's over here telling me I alone, you can fix it. I can save America. I can do this. I can give you what you want and stuff. I can make America great again and stuff, which is really making my life better, is what they think and stuff. So they're really turning away from, source and stuff and going this way. And that's where all the anti is coming in here. We're going to do it the hard way. We're going to be tough on immigration. We're going to round them up and stick them in things. We're going to up taxes. It's going to be a little bit of hardship. And now people are starting to set, well, maybe it'll be better if I pay a little more. Eventually, I'll get my comeuppance. And it's not going to happen. So we got to learn the hard way and stuff. So certain things to come. Let's pull some cards and stuff. I think I'm going to pull. Yeah, let's pull from Light Seers because I don't want it to be a bummer totally. But yes, there is a shift in consciousness. And then there are, of course, a lot of people who do not believe the hype of what's going on with what he's selling. But I know you guys are very confused why they bought the hype and stuff. And a lot of it is because of the perception and their worldview. And a lot of it does come down to that question, are things better for you? And stuff. Now, personally, to me, a bunch of people not dying around me, I would say things are better than 2020. And stuff, definitely, if I look at that. But of course, Americans think about their pocketbook. Okay, I'm paying more for utilities. I'm paying more for rent. I'm paying more for groceries, and nobody's doing anything about it. And that's where their frustration is and stuff. And then somebody's going, I alone can fix it, and they want it fixed. And they also want to stick it to the one they feel didn't fix their problems and stuff. So a lot of women coming into power is going to be a big one coming in with the Queen of Wands energy and stuff. This is a big thing, of course. There's an attack on women that is going on right now, and people want to take us back to the 50s, and a lot of women aren't having that, of course. But yes, we had the Two of Swords. We had a choice to make as Americans, and we know what they chose and stuff. Well, we're in the Trump role and stuff and everything, but you better hold on to your pocketbook. Okay, Four of Pentacles is here. See, she's holding her purse and stuff. You're going to have to be really careful with the finances now and stuff. So be careful on your spending and everything and stuff. And King of Pentacles energy is popping up in there and stuff. So to me, that is also a lot of the big billionaires. They're the ones who are going to be getting rich, 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 trying to take your money out of your pocket. How are we going to pay for all the tax cut the billionaires are going to get? Well, let's invent a thing that immigrants, there's stuff going on with Canada and Mexico, and let's say we're going to impose tariffs till you stop the immigration and the fentanyl crisis. We're going to punish you. And so that's a good way to get the American people, the working class and the poor, to pay these taxes to afford the big tax cuts we're going to give all the billionaires. Okay? And stuff. Queen of Cups energy. So what can we do? We got to connect with source and spirit and everything. And we still, deep down, we got to love these people for better or worse and stuff. Realize a lot of people are broken right now. And now that goes on both sides. There's broken people everywhere. Okay, so we got to remember that. There's a lot of people that are broken, and we got to connect source spirit and be loving. As I said, there's a lot of heartache, there's a lot of loss, there's a lot of suffering, and there will be a lot more with the Three of Swords energy. So what are things about that? There is a fuck around and find out movement. Okay, and I watched some of the videos on things, and a lot of people are like, yeah, now you're going to suffer. I have to suffer with you, but at least you'll learn your lesson. Except, we do want people to awaken. We do want people to grow, but let's not wish suffering on other people. Okay, that's not going to help. I know it sucks to be here, but let's not wish suffering on other people. Okay, that doesn't help. Did Buddha go, well, the only way you're going to learn is suffering? No, he was looking for a way to get away from it and stuff and everything. And Knight of Cups energy. And it's popping up in there, and I feel the divine feminine and masculine need to be more loving to each other and not be opposing each other, and stuff, because we're going to deal with the devil here, and one of the things is to keep them divided and polarized right now and stuff. We're going to have to deal with that toxic energy. So one of the things is we got to repel it and stuff. And the Hangman, that's what we want, is awakening. Sometimes we got to surrender. I can't do anything about this, but I can surrender and let go and do it the way the divine wants me to. And let's pull the final card. And it's up. Only love can save the world. Ace of Cups. We got to try to be more loving. I know it's hard. And stuff. If we're going to try to see the world through the eyes of spirit, we've got to love humanity and stuff. And we've got to want them to awaken, to heal, to get better. It serves no purpose if we are in a position where we hate on people in this divide. Yes, we may have to put you aside in timeout and go run somewhere else and get away from people because they're being toxic. I don't want people staying in relationships that are abusive. I don't want people, dealing with parents that are abusive and toxic and things like that. Voting against our interests is very painful. I agree with you. Put them in timeout for a while. But do not forget that we want to pray that they awaken, that they heal, that they see the light, that they find God. We ultimately want them to do that. So even in this pursuit where a lot of people are upset and angry and stuff, and there's a lot of toxicity going on right now, we know that if humanity could all evolve to 5D, it would be so much better. I stop. And so there is a polarity, there is a divided consciousness. It is very clear. And it's kind of like this X and blue sky thing is a symptom of it. It's not the whole of it, but it's kind of a bit of a reflection of what is happening. But we do want, it would be better if people could eventually get along and work out their differences. The funny thing is, deep down, we all really want the same thing. We want the pursuit of happiness. To be able to do that, we want to have some kind of joy. We want to have some kind of abundance, and we want love. I think we all want that. Ace of Cups is the end card and stuff. So we want to kind of remember that. But the way and the means of going about it to get to that goal, that is where we're divided. And that's where this nation needs to heal, not have further conflict. I do hope this helps.